how fired up are you with that win in Arizona? The Seattle Seahawks come out victorious.
I'm so excited. That's their fourth straight coming out of the bye, and Mike McDonald made adjustments. He said he needed more urgency out of his team, and he's getting more urgency, especially out of the defense. Kobe Bryant with another interception. Ernest Jones with a huge interception. Both times these things set up scores for their offense. Kobe Bryant's interception sets up an immediate score to JSN from Geno. Geno has another efficient game, 24 of 30, 233, and a touchdown. But it was Zach Charbonnet who really shined in this game, both on the ground and through the air. He had 7 catches for 59 yards. He had 22 carries for 134 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of them was a huge 51-yard run where he just that looked like everything the Seattle Seahawks wanted to see when they drafted him out of UCLA, and he delivered. Obviously, your guy K9 is banged up, but he stepped up in a huge way this game. JSN continues his very consistent season, 5 catches for 82 yards in the touchdown we talked about. Jonathan Hankins gets a sack, but it just was a solid effort. And I know that the big cat didn't get the huge play this week, didn't get the highlight play, but he made a number of huge deflections, taking on double teams all day, freeing up these linebackers. This defense just looks like a whole different beast. They were harassing Kyler all night long. They were playing tight coverage. Devin Witherspoon, again, is all over the place. Tyreek Woolen, man, I thought he had a pick. He undercut Marvin Harrison on a comeback route in this game, and it was a beautiful covered play, and I thought he was going to book him up the sideline for 6, but they had the offensive PI. Marvin Harrison Jr. wanted to hate on him. This Arizona Cardinal team has really started to stumble as of late. You know, they're still running the ball well. Kyler's playing decent, but he just looked rattled early on. This defense was getting to him. They were hitting him. They were turning the ball over. He had a great throw where he attacked Kobe Bryant on a corner route, scored a touchdown early in the game. But after that, this defense cut the water off and just kept going all night long. We talked about the run game from the offense. This Seattle Seahawks team looks really good, and I can't wait to see them Sunday night against the Green Bay Packers next week. That's going to be a great game, a game that really, I mean, I keep saying barometer, I keep saying litmus test. They've won 4 in a row, but this Packers team has looked really good. You saw them take your Detroit Lions to the wire. So if the Seattle Seahawks can go in there and get their 5th straight, or host the Packers and get their 5th straight, these conversations start to change, Mitchell, for this first-year coach, Mike McDonald. We have to start thinking, coach of the year? Perhaps.
I wouldn't go that far, Richard. I got a guy here in Detroit named Dan Campbell that would have an argument with you about that. But listen, this Seattle Seahawks team, they've surely impressed. And we question them. You certainly question them. And I was scratching my head at the trade deadline when they dealt both their linebackers. And it seemed like they totally revamped their linebacking core. And we both kind of questioned John Schneider at that point. But since then, 4 straight opponents held to 20 points or less. You know, this game did not start off great for them. Kyler Murray connected with Michael Wilson on a 41-yard touchdown right out the gates. And Seattle looked like they might be in for a long day. And then they recover immediately. This was a huge win for the Seattle Seahawks. And you're absolutely right. I mean, next Sunday night against the Packers, when they host the Packers, that is going to be the bar, because we saw San Francisco, look back like San Francisco. They're not out of the race certainly yet. There's still a couple weeks left in this season for them to make up ground. But if the Seattle Seahawks can continue their winning ways and put this division to bed, you got to look out for them in the playoffs, because Geno Smith, only 6 incompletions today. I mean, you got to love to see that from Geno. What do they have to do to take out the Packers? Because the Packers are in desperate need of a win as well.
It starts with stopping Josh Jacobs. That's going to be the biggest task. That's the task I don't think anybody has done, including your Detroit Lions. But your Detroit Lions defensive line is a lot more banged up. They have to have a plan to stop Josh Jacobs. If you stop Josh Jacobs, then you put more pressure on Jordan Love to really drop back. Matt LaFleur has not felt comfortable with allowing Jordan Love to throw the ball more than 25 times a game. If he gets to throwing 30, 35 times a game, this team may be in trouble, because he gets a little reckless with the football. He starts to get a little chaotic, a little a little cavalier, pushing the ball down the field, believing in his arm strength, believing in his arm talent, and putting the ball in harm's way. We've seen that throughout the season, and that's why the last few games you just have not seen him really push the ball down the field as much as they had earlier in the year. They've really leaned on the run game. They're going to have to protect the football because Green Bay Packers turn it over at a really high level, especially on defense. Jeff Hafley's done a really great job all year long, just coaching his team, put him in good position. If they can get Jair Alexander back, that'd be a huge boost for this defense and change the way that they're covering. Maybe they run a little bit more man coverage. So these receivers are going to have to beat man coverage consistently. But I'm just going to enjoy this one. This team has to feel good. Going on the road, getting their fourth straight win. They look really good. They look confident. They look together. You could see just the camaraderie on defense, the togetherness, guys celebrating one another, celebrating all victories. It's really cool to see. But you know what else is cool to see, Mitchell?
Here comes the hat change.
Hat change, Mitchell. Hat change. The San Francisco 49ers. And they had a great bounce back game, struggling, breaking a 3-game losing streak that had me and everybody else really concerned. We can talk about all the injuries that they have, the guys that are out right now, the guys that went to IR, but I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about the guys that played right now. We're going to talk about Brock Purdy, 20 for 25, 325 yards, 2 touchdowns. Isaac Gorindo with a really impressive game, 15 carries for 78 yards to 2 touchdowns, 2 catches for 50 yards, really getting dynamic. One of them, I thought that could have been a touchdown. Brock Purdy put that ball up early. I thought Gorindo was going to be able to roll into the end zone. He wasn't able to do it. But George Kittle, welcome back, my friend. Welcome back to getting targets. The creativity and the play calling looked great. A lot of screens, middle screens, outside screens. Just pushing it over routes. Kittle was involved in just about every quarter of the game. They finally don't waste a good Juwan Jennings game, 7 catches for 90 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they get the win. You know, every other time Juwan has a great game, they find a way to stumble and lose that game. So I'm just happy for him. I'm happy for the team. He was going at, their DBs. They were going back and forth with Jalen Johnson, friend of the program, and they were battling. It's always good to see that kind of battle, but San Francisco 49ers putting up these kind of points was really good to see. 38 points in the game against the Chicago defense that's played really good throughout this season and have a lot of talent. Rome Odunze gets active, gets 2 touchdowns in this game. But Caleb Williams gets sacked 7 times, which was great for the San Francisco 49ers because without Nick Bosa, they just haven't been able to get home very consistently. It was good to see Gross Matos get his 3 sacks. Leonard Floyd got 2 sacks. It was a collective effort, and just you could see the sense of urgency from the D-line. You could see the linebackers, everybody flying around. It looked like a really good team. Now I get to go to San Francisco this Thursday to watch my San Francisco 49ers play the LA Rams in a game that's going to be the loser of this game likely it kills their hopes at the playoffs, at the division. Honestly, the Seattle Seahawks might have pulled away already with the division. In order for either of these teams to have a chance to win it, they're going to need some help and they're going to need some losses from the Seattle Seahawks. But anything's possible. It's the National Football League.